look, shit, if I can't get you on games, I'll meet you the other way. News. Hi, there's a mixed race, Japanese and black creator who decided to make a manga about black people and their experiences.
Oh
And
wait,
then,
you're talking about the one that didn't get an official translation, and then the fucking fan translation is racist, right?
oh yeah,
Oh, I just heard about that today. Actually.
I know. I sent you the shorts for it because I was prepping as a topic to discuss while gaming.
Oh wow, you really thought ahead there.
Yes, motherfucker. That's why I'm mad that I can't play the games with you.
That's fair. I appreciate you. Well,
Hello, Let's Decay.
oh,
Sorry, I
hey,
just said hi.
haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. I need to get you inside a TV, though.
Oh, it's better than a jar. It's not a jar.
Yeah, I mean it has breathing holes, I think.
That's not what I'm worried about with a jar.
Being come on?
Drowning in it, more or less. I can't find that more mortifying than that. You know.
I see. I see. Okay, yeah. I actually did not notice you had sent me the video back because I think it just came on my feed also too.
Ah, neat.
Okay,
Yeah, no, it's
so
not. Hey.
I'll show the fucking short on stream just so people can have the context, and then we'll talk about it. I love talking about
Yeah.
Black Nerd shit. We were actually just reading Jujutsu Kaisen today because we still haven't finished it. we're
Oh, finally?
No, we're still not done. We have 2 chapters left. Well, technically
Oh,
4 if you count was it 72.2 and stuff.
I know.
We were
Oh, my
trying,
birthday
but we
was.
got to. I mean, maybe we'll do it sometime to stream. Maybe we'll finish Jujutsu Kaisen on stream later.
I will. You and me pass it back and forth, and we'll just read it with the dumbest fucking dub. Sorry.
Okay,
Hey,
so here we go.
you're doing
Tony Weaver Jr., which is a YouTuber we've been, I mean, watching an inordinate amount of clips of at this point because like he talks a lot about like racism and phobia, whatever the spice of life phobia is of that day, and like anime and nerd communities and stuff like that. So, yeah. Wow, that is really low. That is a really low volume. Oh my god, it's still so low! Wait, I don't know if it's low for everyone else, or it's just low for me. This might...
I know you have it.
I mean, I haven't turned up all the way now, I think. I just... Maybe... Volume mixer. Yes! I have... I have the whole browser turned down.
Characters got translated by white supremacists, and you're telling me the manga with black characters got translated by white supremacists, and their version is the only one available in English? Half is More is an award-winning manga by a mixed-race mangaka exploring their experiences in Japanese culture. And ironically, the series itself has been subject to the same microaggressions and discrimination as some of its characters. Now, before its official release, a group of translators that don't like the subject matter decided to make their racist interpretation people's first introduction to the series. I've always been curious about people that are disciplined enough to learn Japanese, but lack the discipline to not be racist to the black community. When Yasuke got introduced in Assassin's Creed, we saw petitions about protecting Japanese culture. And to this day, manga, anime, and video game localizers get attacked for not maintaining the true intentions of the author. But that focus on cultural respect disappears when the people are darker. If you're a black nerd, know that your stories always matter. And if you hate black people so much you learn a completely different language just to represent them poorly, go get some therapy!
Valid. Alright, so. It sucks to be black not because there's anything inherently bad about being black. It sucks because people are constantly treating you worse than other people, assuming the worst out of you, giving you no good faith, and generally being shitty and assumptive, to say the least. But in this case, I was actually reminded of there's a video game called Goodbye Volcano High, which is like super duper queer, and it has a black coded character, and the main character is trans, is like a non-binary person, I would say, of the trans mass persuasion, and like there's a lot of like queer like heart in it, right? But like more than a year before it came out, someone made a parody version, because it's a visual novel, so they made a parody visual novel that is sort of gross and does this like white guy self-insert who is sort of like I would say they are what's that word, it's like a Gary Stu but a Chad, I guess, and does a lot of horrible things, and also makes the main character realize that they're actually not trans at all and was just confused, amongst other terrible things. And it got so popular that there are people who will not play the actual game that is being parodied because they assume that it is insensitive or gross in some way, or they just, even though they know the facts, they just avoid it because they have just such a bad taste in their mouth because of it. And this feels just like that, actually. And it's just like, oh, let's just slanderize this thing. But, no, but we're fans. We're totally fans. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie, I would not be surprised if the people who translated didn't actually know Japanese and they just got machine translated. But either way, pretty sucky.
I have a fucking dumb meme. Not meme, but a dumb joke to just add here. What you just made me realize is probably them going, Dear ChatGPT, please rewrite this and translate it, but make it sound like Uncle Ruckus came straight out the Confederacy boarding school. Right.
Yeah, I can certainly imagine that.
Yeah. But no. Okay. Main things I just have to say is, yes, I agree with it. It is inherently not an issue to be black. And most of the goddamn issues come from the people around just judging, treating, and overall seeing you differently due to the color of your skin. Which is the funniest thing to me, because it's just like, should we basing this off of colors? Nothing else? Really? But it's been such an ingrained thing that it is something that you would have to take seriously, and it's crazy that you would have to.
If it is something that feels surreal, because I mean, even without knowing the science of like, I don't know, like melanin or the genetics of like how people are related and how that like genetically speaking, someone who is like an African from Africa and someone who is like a white person from Europe have potentially just as much genetic similarity as someone within their own country in terms of like, you know, DNA and shit. Like, without knowing like all the hoity-toity, you know, $10-$20 words I could drop about the science or sociologies of race, it just feels super weird to be so concerned with it, though some people do racism in the way not so much of being like, oh, black people are these stereotypes, but to say, well, you're leaning on like past injustices to sort of justify your position right now. Actually, there's an article that we have or an essay that we had set up for stream that might be pertinent for this conversation as well.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, I'm trying to make sure I'm getting your wording correctly here. You're talking about people basically going with past injustices as, those are issues of the past. You're not sealing those anymore, right?
I mean,
My-
to
my
quote
understanding-
Kanye, slavery seemed like a choice. That sort of rhetoric.
But like, slavery was a choice. Aren't you a Nazi?
He is.
Yeah. It. No, never mind. I realized that is not the line of argument that I would want to go down. All right, let's see here.
Let's
You
see.
find your article. I almost made a horrible situation.
Oh, really? Article. Sometimes I'm looking at something on my phone and I don't realize that it was not on my computer. So now I have to go to my phone, take the link, put it on, post it in Discord, and then
click it from there.
yeah,
I get you.
the magic of Pine Sol.
What?
What?
The magic of Pine Sol?
Don't think about it too hard.
I feel like I just got hit with a chloroform rag for the second time.
For the second time? Wow.
Been laid down at 2 p.m. yesterday. I woke up like a few hours ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the video was very low. Ah, sorry. Thanks for bringing it up. Oh, hey, colorful. Yeah. A fan translation group decided to translate a manga from a mixed race author who made a semi-autobiographical manga about being black and Japanese. And they made the translation very uncharitable and basically did a bunch of, I guess in a way it's minstrelry. There is a YouTube video we saw a while back that's talking about how AI kind of makes a great tool for racists because they don't have to find black people who are willing to degrade themselves to stereotypes to, like, say, justify their prejudices or to, like, make a mockery of us. They can just generate AI shit. There's actually a wave of people generating like videos of black people stealing from stores and looking directly into the camera. And so you can produce all sorts of like black people not acting right? And that's like a super useful tool that they will use now and later. And it just is making me think about like the ways that black people are put into uncharitable lights in order to justify our own oppression. Anyway, this essay is called Being Black versus Being Human. A personal conversation with Frantz Fanon. I won't give it any preamble. We'll just go into it and we can break it apart piece by piece.
I'm down with that. I have now a question due to the title alone. You mind streaming this into the call?
Yeah, sure.
The question that I have now is mainly just if one does not see themselves as a person, is it not different to say that I have technically translated a race, or am I wrong there?
Say the whole thing again.
If one does not see themselves as a human being in person, is it not wrong to also say that I technically have left the race behind?
I guess that's one way to look at it. I wouldn't necessarily.
No, just a random question because of the title. I was like,
I mean, some might say. I mean, especially being a furry, for example, it's like, well, I'm not black. I'm chlorophyll with pink spikes or whatever, you know, right? But honestly, I think a more succinct way to have named it that wasn't as, like, I don't want to call it vague, but I guess actually it's more direct. It's less about dehumanization and it's more about like how you classify yourself and like identity labels and stuff actually.
I was curious. Had to ask the question.
Oh yeah, I like it when you ask questions. Curiosity is a good thing. Curiosity keeps you wondrous.
Yeah, it killed the cat, and satisfaction brought it back. Please remember the full thing. Don't make you forget.
Oh, of course, of course. I begin with some words from the... Wait, sorry. I need to... By Godesulloh?
But
I don't know how I pronounce that, but I hope it was good enough. I begin with some words from the final paragraphs of Frantz Fanon's Puer Noir Masques Blanc, Black Skin, White Masks. I have no wish to be the victim of the flawed of a black world. My life should not be devoted to drawing up the balance sheet of Negro values. There is no white world. There is no white ethnic any more than there is a white intelligence. There are in every part of the world men who search. I am not a prisoner of history. I should not seek there for the meaning of my destiny. I should constantly remind myself that the real leap consists in introducing invention into existence. In the world through which I travel, I am endlessly creating myself. Am I going to ask the contemporary white man to answer for the slave ships of the 17th century? Am I going to try by every possible means to cause guilt to be born in minds, moral anguish in the face of the massiveness of the past? I am a Negro, and tons of chains, storms of blows, rivers of extrication, flown down my
exploitation?
It's not exploitation. Expectoration. Expectoration? Yeah. Rivers of expectoration flow down my shoulders, but I do not have the right to allow myself to bog down. I do not have the right to allow the slightest fragment to remain in my existence. I do not have the right to allow myself to be marred in what the past has determined. I am not the slave of the slavery that dehumanized my ancestors. Let us be clearly understood. I am convinced that it would be of the greatest interest to be able to have contact with Negro literature or architecture of the 3rd century before Christ. I should be very happy to know that correspondence had flourished between some Negro philosopher and Plato, but I can absolutely not see how this fact would change anything in the lives of the 8-year-old children who labor in the cane fields of Mantarique or Guadalupe. No attempt must be made to encase man, for it is his destiny to be set free. Black Skin, White Mask is a book I have not read, though I do know about it because it is like sort of a foundational text of black thought, right? I mean, it is what it says, like black skin, white mask. It is sort of talking about how like white supremacy or colonialism acts through black bodies. I don't know all the ways that it does this or talks about this, but I mean, there's some things I could think off the top of my head. Black fucking cops and ICE agents, you know? Shit, even fucking Jay-Z, honestly. Anyone who abandons black communities and goes, well, I guess it's just better if they riot. We just need to all leave the ghetto and everything will be fine, right? That's sort of that sort of thinking in a way. There are a lot of ways in which the specter of whiteness or white supremacy sort of invades black bodies. Shit, we mentioned Kanye not too long ago. He is definitely a tool of white supremacy, hands down. That going forward, I am going to be forward here. I am going to be quite critical of this work because I have already seen, I've already ingested this entire essay. This person also makes YouTube videos. I am not showing their YouTube video because it is longer. It might take longer, and at least with the writing here, I feel like we can engage with it in a certain way. That is to say, though, if someone finds interest in this stuff, you can look more into this person's thoughts. But I think it's relevant to be reading this essay in order to highlight the flaws, because I think there are common flaws in thought that both queer people and racialized people can learn from, because it's something that I think it's very common you fall into, especially when, well, actually, I'd say especially when you don't know a lot about the history of the identity or culture that you're a part of. But in this case, this is someone who does. This is someone who is having conversation with someone who already kind of was making the same point they did. Anyway. What? Oh, do you want to read?
Yeah. I was gonna let you finish out as much as you could, and then I would step in whenever you were done. But yes, if you want to do paragraph by paragraph, or how do you want to go about this?
Probably not paragraph by paragraph. I'll if you don't interrupt yourself to respond to what you're reading, I'll just take over after we resume whenever I cut you off to go, hey, I want to talk about that.
All right then. So, by the way, just keep scrolling. If I pause at the end of the thing, just scroll up a little bit more. But within these paragraphs, which close up, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's gonna be annoying as fuck.
that.
So I'm just gonna scroll as I need to.
Yeah, that fucked up my vision. I was just like, never mind. Okay. Within these paragraphs, which close off a very different book, Fanon presents to us many fascinating themes. Here we to what the hell is this? Hold on, give me a second. I'm dumb. I was zoomed in on Discord. Okay. Here I'm trying to highlight few thoughts on the philosophy of history, alongside questions surrounding moral responsibility and freedom. Unpacking all of this in context of the rest of the book, and importantly, Fanon's other works, would truly be a meaningful endeavor. But that is not our task for today. I begin with Fanon's words here to get us thinking about the topic we are contending with. Being black versus being human. You might have noticed at the outset that there is a problem with this phrase. It is that problem which partially animates this essay. Some other day, I'll write about blackness as it relates to many lived experience.
To my lived experience.
Oh shit. To my lived experience. The very concept is, and perhaps will be, strange to me. In Nigeria, where I spent most of my life, the concept carries little weight. In the US, where I first...
Why is the... That didn't help.
Not at all.
Is this a download button? No, that's a share button. Wow, that's... I really hate Substack. I cannot tell you how much I'm hating Substack right now. Wow, thanks Substack. I hate you.
I was gonna say, if you want to, we can do the good old print method. You Control P so it all prints out at once. And then you can just scroll through the pre-made printer options. Aha! Gotcha, bitch!
Wait. No, it only does... Yeah, they know that trick. We'll just have to do it. It's just the Dark Souls of reading an essay, I guess.
I'm down for a challenge. I already had a sword in hand.
Where are we? Read about the experience. The very concept was very strange to me. In Nigeria, so late. Here we go.
There you go. In the US, where I first arrived after leaving home, the term carries an unbelievable amount of weight. In the UK, the land I was secondly
diasporist
into, the term carries a weight that manages to contrast sharply with the American experience. It manifests so many commonalities that navigating both almost amounts to being bilingual. The imagery of language is useful, I think, because through it all, I can say that blackness, for better or worse, is my second language. I can't say I grew up with it. Yeah, there's something above that. Yet I've done my best to learn to speak it, and I stumble often. However, all this is a story for another day. I mention it here also as a preamble to what is to come. To turn back to the topic at hand, one might rightfully ask, what does it mean to say being black versus being human? To be black is to be human, after all. Why frame it as either or? This is precisely why I'm writing this essay.
All right, so this is a good pause point. Two things I want to bring up. I think that there's going to be a big gap because both Dell and I are both Americans. We're both black Americans. So our perspective is obviously going to be different. Although obviously our perspective is different from each other. Black thought
And also age, definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure. But black thought from parts of the diaspora that don't include America or the UK can be informed by a lot of different things, and like the universality of the human experience is something that I think comes up a lot. I think that in terms of conversations we've had that turn into arguments with other black people about like sort of like the importance of like black culture or community often has something to do with these sort of disparities in how we construct our identities, and that's not necessarily bad on its own. Though weirdly, when we were growing up, we did not have a lot of we weren't like glomming on to black identity. In fact, we were, if not running from it, definitely a little bit perturbed because of how we felt it was forced on us in certain ways. We've come to appreciate it now, and I think that part of it is also like the freedom to engage with it on our own terms and not always have to perform for other people, or know the right things to be perceived as valid enough, which is still sort of an issue in its own way, because there's plenty of people, black and otherwise, who are like, well, you're not acting black or whatever, based on interests or cadence or what have you. I think the other thing is like the why phrase it as an either or kind of makes me think about like the questions that sometimes people have, like etymologically, I guess, about like Black Lives Matter and shit, and it's like, well, don't all lives matter? And it's like,
Yeah,
well,
the purpose of saying it is literally to highlight a specific situation that is happening right now. To say that all lives matter is basically the same thing as just moving the goalpost from, hey, I want to guarantee something here to another. Just because I say, yes, I love all dogs lives matter. Well, all lives matter. The fuck do you mean? I'm particularly trying to help guarantee and work on something right here so that I can focus on something as a topic of issue. But if you decide to continue moving the goalposts so that we can trivialize that topic, it makes it harder for me to actually focus on where I want to support. So instead, it dilutes the point so that we're focusing on every single thing when that's not what the original argument was about.
yeah, that you put it very succinctly there. And I think this comes up in a lot of different situations, particularly with identity stuff. I mean, we're in Pride Month right now. A lot of people go, oh, but what about straight pride? And it's just like, you get This is a straight world. What the fuck do you mean?
If you mind, I raised a not a counter argument, but a side thing here.
Sure.
You want straight pride? We have a month. Congrats. Choose one. Do it. What? Just because someone has a month does not mean that you can't have one too. But guess what? It also doesn't mean that we should take down our own things for you. You want to have a time to celebrate yourself? Celebrate yourself, motherfucker. But that doesn't mean that everybody else has to stop celebrating themselves. Why is there a choice between the two? Support yourself, support us. I still think it's bullshit to say that, oh, we have just a single thing of Juneteenth, or just, hey, we only have a singular month. But guess what? You highlight these people so that they can actually feel comfortable in their own skin. Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if my opinions are going to be shared by everybody.
Of course. I mean, thinking about just disparity in how it affects like people's identity and access to like community, and I mean access to their own humanity. Honestly, like I sort of get really irritated when people sort of like trivialize like the pride of like a marginalized culture of like. It's that conversation again of like quote unquote making something your entire personality, or in the case of Fanon, who was quoted at the beginning of the essay, being like, well, I mean, the fact that Plato talked to a black guy that was a philosopher doesn't really affect me at all. And I mean, it's missing the forest for the trees, but we'll get into it. We'll get into it.
I can understand the sentiment, but I also would still say it's still significant. Not directly to you, maybe. Okay.
For real. To turn back on the topic at hand, one might rightfully ask, what does it mean to say being black versus being human? To be black is to be human after all. Why frame it as an either or? This is precisely why I'm writing this essay. Indeed, it is not an either or. Being black and being human are not in conflict with one another. However, sometimes we speak as if they are. To illustrate this, I am going to attempt to thread the needle of an extremely delicate conversation here. Oh, now I'm also thinking of that speech, "Ain't I a woman?" Because the thing is, it's not as though black people decided, oh yeah, like we need our identity to come into opposition with being human. It was white people who did that.
So
it's like it's a reclamation. It's just like Black Lives Matter. It's screaming, I am human. I am black. And that matters because my humanity has been denied to me. Whatever. Let them get some more sentences out before I fucking eat all their skin. Sorry, Freudian slip.
You read through this all the way, by the way, or have you...
I have seen a video of the writer of this essay reading it.
Got you.
However, sometimes we speak as if they are. To illustrate this, I'm going to attempt to thread a needle of an extremely difficult, delicate discussion here. I hope you'll give this thought the grace it needs to land properly. Every so often, a story finds its way to me of a black person in history doing something remarkable. Generally speaking, the comments on such a story range from people lamenting that this person's story has been erased to people finding pride in the story, affirming that black folks were, indeed, shapers of history. In the most surface level sense, I can say I have no issue with stories such as these. But, truth be told, I always wonder, what are these stories for? I mean, what are they really for? On one hand, it's just simply to share history, and that's good, I have no qualms with this, but what does it mean to take pride in such a story? Let's say that I've encountered the true story of Thomas Fuller, an enslaved man in the African South who had the mental prowess to be a living calculator. His mental abilities would almost be the stuff of legend if we did not have documented evidence of what he could do. Fuller's story is remarkable for many reasons, but I'm left wondering, why would I take pride in it? My concern here is the taking pride in such a story would involve agreeing to the presuppositions with which I fundamentally reject. Feeling pride in stories like this sometimes has the energy of saying, look, You all think that people like me are unintelligent and have no history. Well, here's one of many examples that proves you wrong. This thought disturbs me. Fanon raises a similar concern. Indeed, as someone who loves philosophy and likes Plato, it would be cool for me to discover a letter someday between Plato and a philosopher who existed in what is now known as Nigeria. But what would that prove? Would it prove that pre-Nigeria Nigerians actually did have the ability to think? The ability to reason? The ability to philosophize? No, and no, and no. I have no proof of these. I need no proof of these because pre-Nigeria Nigerians were human beings. And these traits above are simply things that humans do. Indeed, some parts of the world preserve their ancient escapades better than others for us today. Consequently, due to several factors including chance, luck, ingenuity, and innovation, some things are lost to history while others survive. This is where I kind of got mad. Because okay. He goes, let's see, chance and luck, they're basically the same thing. Ingenuity, okay, and innovation. Huh. Those are the reasons things are lost to history. Not theft, not genocide, not okay, taking it out of the context of black people for a second. We literally don't have information on queer bodies. We would have been ahead on the technology of fucking gender transition, amongst many other things, even just a bunch of sociological things, because Hirschfeld's fucking research was burned by Nazis. An entire library of queer history was burned. That wasn't luck. That wasn't ingenuity. That wasn't innovation. That was fucking fascism, and it was something very political. The problem I have with this essay is that although it is about philosophy, it is using a philosophical take to basically do an I don't see colorism about things, and is trying to... Okay, I feel like it's the reverse of when people right now are being like, no, don't make white kids feel guilty for slavery. It's like sort of the reverse of that. It's, don't let black kids be proud that a black person invented the street light. Like,
that's a new piece of information from me, but at the same time, I would also like to add in something if you don't mind.
Please.
Oh, yes. I very much can see where you're going with this. Before you said anything, at first I was like, this makes some sense. I get the point of what this is stating. I'm gonna be straight up with you. Yes, we burned everything down and we killed all the people and we slaughtered them all. And then we burned all the information about them. Yeah, I'll be straight up with you. I thought that was what they were meant by innovation. Coding here, but maybe I was reading this the wrong way.
Well, I mean, like, you only know what I'm reading here. You haven't gotten to the end yet here. But I mean, generally speaking, taking it in good faith, and especially considering the author has pretty much been like, they're on the same page with Fanon, and using Fanon's words to contextualize the essay overall. My thought is, what you're saying is, like, we're all human. We shouldn't be talking about, like, what it means to be human versus what it means to be black, insofar as it being like a marker of like our value, which I can kind of get, where it's like, yeah, my value is just as valuable as any white person, right? But that's not the world we live in, where people actually get to live a life that reflects that.
Yes, I agree with this. Shoot, I was even looking at the thing where it was like, what does the matter of the person who's speaking from Plato and all this? I was just like, realistically, let's just be honest here. There are going to be intelligent people all across the world in every culture and every group. But guess what? We're doing the same things I talked about earlier. You're moving the goalposts from what we were to something that we're not. We're talking about the fact that there is people who are able to do these things in insert place. Why is it that we're making it just trivialized? It feels like we're just diluting this actual topic.
Interesting.
I could be wrong, but this is how I feel.
All right, let's keep going then. Oh, do you want to take over?
Where did we be? All consequently through faction and ingenuity. It proved nothing. Yep.
All
Or at
right.
least it proved nothing significant. So to take pride in certain stories seems like an attempt to make a point, builds on a foundation which I fundamentally reject. The clearest example of this in many conversations is the ancient Egyptians. For many people, the skin color of the ancient Egyptians is extremely important for this very reason. It is simply relevant for historical accuracy. It is relevant to prove people wrong when they say black Africans never accomplished anything historically. This, how this is, of course, an assertion from Hegel and some TikTok comment sections. Even today, on some posts, show us this assertion still needs to be exercised. So, the ancient Egyptians become an important piece of this puzzle to prove the humanity of Africans. If Egyptians were blonde with blue eyes, then Hegel was right. Egypt belongs to Europe and does not count as African. No, Africa. The real Africa, where the black folks live, is pretty much a void where nothing happens. So, to prove that Hegel was wrong, we must know what the ancient Egyptians look like. Now, make no mistake, it is preposterous to think that ancient Egyptians were blondes with blue eyes. They weren't. But suppose they were. Would this prove Hegel right? Absolutely not. The humanity of Africans is simply not a topic for debate. Plus, more simply, if one wishes to hang out with ancient civilizations on the continent that were not Egyptian, there are options. One only needs to spend time vibing with the metallurgy of the Yoruba kingdoms or the Great Benin Wall to find enough interesting civilizations. Wait,
Artifacts, I guess. Yeah, I think that's just a British way to to spell artifacts.
no, I got lost when you scrolled up. I was trying to figure out where the hell it was.
Uh,
Shoot. Interesting ancient artifacts to hang out with. I feel the need to remind people constantly that there are more pyramids in Sudan than there are in Egypt. Why should it matter if ancient Egyptians had the same skin color as me? Once
okay,
more,
I want to pause here. This is a time that I felt is very important for me to actually mention a thing that I sort of agree with, because I am overwhelmingly critical of this essay. But I do think this is a topic, though he hasn't brought it up in the specific context that I'm about to. There's these people called Hotep. Hoteps are sort of like black propagandists, and there is a sort of okay, so in that way that I was talking about, how like on one end of the spectrum you could say, oh, we shouldn't make white kids feel bad for the racism their ancestors did, and on the flip side of that is, don't make black people feel good for the good things their ancestors did, or whatever. But like, what Hoteps did was they sort of, they're an example of like, okay, a maladaptive need to like create validity or value within like community. So it's kind of like if as queer people we took something that was a little esoteric and we said that is inherently queer in a way that is like historically trackable and proves that we are important. If I were to say that it's very queer to be a witch, and all witches were inherently queer, and it was inherently something that they did to gay people specifically, and that we actually have the air of magic, and by being queer we are real life mages and we will change the world through our own personal black, sorry, mixing metaphors here, our personal queer magic. This is sort of what Hoteps did, except instead of saying that we inherently are magical, it was we are the descendants of kings, of pharaohs. This I think I can't confirm this completely, but I think this is part of the thing where it's like, oh, you drop this king, sort of like the black sort of thing of not just going, oh, the people who are of me are my brothers and sisters, or brother and sister, but also this thing of being like king or queens, and like sort of comparing black people's modern day actions to royalty, and being like, we're royalty, we came from royalty, and you should act like it. A sort of, oh shit, I'm about to say something I really fucking hate. It's actually kind of, Hoteps did something similar, though with a like a sort of trying to uplift sort of message, as what like white supremacists do with like Vikings and shit. It's like trying to trace a lineage as a way to show that you are important, and to basically go backwards and go, things that this people were known for, this is me. I don't think it's always bad to look at your ancestors and say, oh, we have qualities in common that I want to manifest. But the thing that really falls apart in terms of having like a sort of black pride about Egyptians, once you find out that the Hoteps sort of erased other peoples in order to mythologize black people under the frame of we all hail from Egyptians and pharaohs and stuff, because like there are brown people in Africa as well, not just black people. Like it was actually during one of the times that America started doing fucked up shit, and I know there was like a bunch of like also like political upheaval in Egypt some years ago, and we were noticing that in a lot of protests we saw a lot of like Middle Eastern people, and we were just like, oh, Egypt also has brown people in it. And it's like thinking about like desert climates and stuff like that, and the types of peoples that are sometimes associated with like, you know, desert like geography, and then realizing that, well, maybe there's some crossover, but to wholesale go, yes, African Americans are basically directly the ancestors of Egyptian pharaohs and shit, is very misleading. It made me feel kind of bad, actually. And also, on top of that, considering we are an anarchist, being like, I am truly in my soul a king or queen or whatever, it don't hit like it used to. If I'm playing around, if I'm in little space, but no kings.
Sentiment. Hi, you might have put out something real quickly.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
First off, I'm straight with you. I don't know. I believe we do have shared a sentiment when it comes to being black. Sometimes it doesn't feel like I know exactly what that means. I can't say this for certain, and I know it probably does go either towards or against Juneteenth. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not really going to try to trivialize myself to learn what the hell it is. For some reason, I just have this thing in me that goes, every identifier that tells me that I should put down a listing or say I am black doesn't matter nearly as much as me just saying I'm a person. But at the same time, I do understand that it is a thing from history, and it is a thing that people deal with on a common enough basis that it makes sense. I can't say that I exactly do a bunch of stuff for black pride. I don't. For the most part, I just go about my day as if I'm a person. But I do keep in mind what the actual societal situation of it is. I understand a lot of the points so far that are brought up by you in this, or by you about this. But for me, I very much share their sentiments. At least so far. Again, I haven't read the rest of this. You have.
That's fair. I'm glad to have you around. I'm glad that we're in community together. I think it is valuable that you have people that differ from you, like in your community, like around you. And I think that it's really easy to fall into bad faith about anyone who at all disagrees with anything within your like political or moral lexicon. Not you specifically, like in our society.
Yeah, 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 I get you.
So like we are poised to be like, oh, someone is someone's complaining about
Yeah,
leftist
well, if I just got done with like a debate tournament, I understand exactly what you mean.
yeah. Like you want to all like people always assume that the other person is trying to like fucking gut them or something, and it's just like
Yeah.
I and we do feel it too. Like whenever we hear someone talking about like echo chambers and how like especially it's like if someone's complaining about leftist echo chambers, it feels like a dog whistle, and just like we're trying to train ourselves not to immediately act whistle train. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say this: there are definitely some times where, hey, some people need to fucking speak, put their head outside the window. But at the same time, I don't think that's inherently true for every situation in every group.
Yeah. I think that there's like a diet, right? I think that it matters like what type of like environment people are around, not always if an environment exists that is like say overly validating, because if you have an overly validating space and it's not the only place you're spending your time, then I think it's fine. And especially considering the world is like a hurt box for a lot of people, I feel like we want to balance out the equilibrium at least a little bit.
I agree.
Awesome. Is there anything else I wanted to say before we moved on? Yeah, I don't even know if it sounded like I agree with them. I guess it is to say that I think that there is. Okay, Hotep's did stolen valor from Egyptians, right? But I think in general there is a grasping, there is a yearning for being. It's one thing to be like, treat me with respect because I'm human, and it's another thing to be like, you don't get a choice. And there's a lot of ways that you can like validate your own like will and confidence to be like, no, you're gonna treat me like I deserve to be treated. And there are people who come to that place in avenues that I don't like Hoteps. But I don't think that that's. Sorry?
No, I was gonna say just or even with me, it's like I know my family does not claim being anywhere First Nation or of what people call Native Americans. Even it's like, nah, that was like possibly like a grandma's dad's history. But like that's not us. We're all just black, and it's like I feel like that's a pretty reasonable thing to still keep there. Am I gonna aspire to go learn more about the culture? Maybe someday, but as far as I'm concerned, I was just raised up as a black kid.
I do think there's an incuriosity that honestly a lot of Americans, I think there's especially an American thing where Americans will be like, yeah, there's some sort of like mixed lineage in my family, and that is enough for me to say I'm glad that I can say it in a conversation. And that's all that a lot of Americans care to say about, because it feels for a lot of people alien to go in like they're trespassing, even if they do think that they have some claim to that thing. A lot of people in that way, a lot of people lay claim to stuff that is like so much more readily apparent. Whew, gosh, I should have known it was gonna challenge me, but honestly, I didn't think I was gonna be the one fronting, so I don't know. It's my Chinibio heart is doesn't know how to beat. I suppose we can continue. Oh right, wait no, stolen valor. Right, I do think that there is something to gain from like thinking of the human race as like, you know, a culture that we all draw something from, and that like people aren't automatically barred from like a connection with certain histories just because they are, say, from one country and they don't belong to another one. As someone who really likes Japanese culture, is informed by it overwhelmingly, so how can I not think that?
I'll be straight up with you. Remove all the borders, remove all the separations in the existence that we all happen to be in. They very much point that I will stand with. I also see why people want to draw things out of individual sections.
It feels safe.
Everything you look at, everything you should be taking in. Remove nothing.
Yeah, I guess the separations make it easier to digest.
True. I'm going to actively get out of here for a little bit. I need to go and grab groceries. But
Oh, okay.
it was nice being here. I may come back around later, but there's no guarantee.
All right, that's totally fine. Thanks for speaking with me about this in public.
Aha! You see, that's the thing about this being in public. As far as most people know, I'm not here. As far as most people know see my face, I'm not here. This is not truly public, as far as I'm concerned. But I get the gist.
Yeah. Well, have a good one, alright?
I will. I will see you again.
Bye-bye. Alright, I guess I'll get out of the Discord call. Gosh. I almost wish we had started doing that first. But the fun games got exhausted, so that's where we landed. In the middle of Discourse land. I'll be careful, because Digital Circus is soon. So we'll probably read through this, react to it, and take a little break so we can be bright and bushy-tailed for absolute trauma. So let's go on for a little bit longer. Once more, it's possible that we rehearse these things simply to make sure that our history is accurate, and that is good. That is important. There are many silences in the way that we tell history that paint an unhelpful and unjust picture of the world. Painting a truer picture is important, and if that is all the messages seek to do, then that is good. But once again, reactions to such stories tend to show me that there's more going on. To use these stories as proof in an argument where my very humanity is on the line is something I cannot do. These arguments might serve as a means to an end, but at this point, I'm making a moral claim that I'll address some other day. The point remains, I'm a human being, and I lay claim to all of humanity. I think that I'm almost at the end of the essay too, which is funny. Dale just left because I'm remembering this phrase. This assertion is a radical one for some, so I will spend the last bit of this essay fleshing it out. I have met a couple of people over the years who are suspicious of the very concept of humanity. They say that the very idea of all people being human has historically been a smokescreen concealing immense amounts of violence. Let him finish. Enlightened thinkers yapped constantly about the rights of man, yet murdered men at every turn. A phrase I borrow from Fernand's Les Dames de la Terre. Well, yeah, like all men are created equal except the brown ones.
Exactly.
Oh, hi. Jump scare. All of this.
Show up again.
I didn't expect you to come back that quickly. Also, I was gonna jump off of the call unless I knew someone else was gonna be on it. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll jump off of it once I'm done reading it, which is also kind of
I
funny.
was still in Twitch chat and listening, and then I was like, hold the fuck up. Yeah. So I agree. I agree on some points here.
Oh, really?
I heard some of it and then got missed when I joined a Discord call, so I might have missed the section in the middle. We'll look back on your stream. I'm gonna scroll it back for myself. It tells them all the humanity and the business and the amount of violence, enlightenment, think you should have to constantly about the rights of man, yet to murder man. Yeah.
Well, that's actually him just saying a thing that people said, because I'm pretty sure he's about to react to it. All of this, they say, tells us that the whole humanity business is a sham. I've heard one person directly tell me that their blackness is so important to them that they would not want to give it up to claim some strange abstract concept called humanity. Okay, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there is... it kind of makes me think of the people who told us growing up that we had to choose one, black or queer, you know? And unfortunately,
struggle people, hell no.
Unfortunately, oh no, definitely not. And that's why intersectionality is so important. But you know, in our lived experience, we have found out something that reinforced our thoughts on it, because it's just like, okay, if I am around black people that are not aligned or not, like, you know, anti-homophobia, then there's gonna be homophobia. And if I am with queer people who are not explicitly anti-racist, there's gonna be racism. So I can't pick one, because the other thing will the anti version of the other thing will seep out. And so, like, you know, it is impossible to just stand up for one thing, because we're not free until we're all free. And if you're multiple things, then that also means that, well, you're certainly not free until, like, a number of things are free, which also is how we're all connected.
So, remember how I was talking about, like, the whole take everything mindset?
Yeah.
You ever heard of the goddamn Incredibles? And I know this seems like a reach, real quickly, but I'm pulling one of the quotes out of the Incredibles for one of the ways I feel.
All right. I've seen the Incredibles one.
Cool. You remember the quote of "If we're all super, no one is."
Yeah.
I'm gonna be straight up with you. That whole sentiment at first makes it seem like, certain people should be special. At least how I read it, right? But the way I've always interpreted it is, yes, we are all super. No one is supposed to be super. We're all at a base default line here. I feel, and this is a crazy standpoint, every life here in this world has the same amount of value, same points, same ideas. And I mean every. On, like, grand scheme. The only reason why that scale tips is because you know the person or you care about them, because of one of the facts about what is a distinguishing identifier, who they are or what they are. This is just how I see the world.
I don't think that really disrupts my views of the world, though. I have a lot of stuff built on top of thoughts like that, I guess. I have kind of a Rube Goldberg machine of, like, philosophies going on, I guess.
I'm one of those people where if you gave me the, like, genie that bases everything off of what you appear and think about, if I say half of all the things that are in this room must disappear, in terms of, like, the half of the living things in this room must disappear, that half chance will be just as equal as killing a amoeba in this room floating through the air or taking me out of here. My life does not have that much more meaning than any of the other things in this world.
It's just a value we assign them.
Yeah. It feels crazy that we're putting a value on the idea of just blackness alone compared to other things, but it also feels crazy to diminish that value. It's like you're playing with multiples of infinity.
I see where you're coming from with that one. It's just there's some infinities are denied, and we just need to fight for some infinities because they haven't got the time to shine. With all these thoughts... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, and that's perfectly valid to do.
With all these thoughts, we see blackness opposed to humanity. One must choose between the two, and some people, viewing humanity as a sham, chose blackness. Now, here's the thing. There is truth here. There are critiques of humanism which are well argued, historically justified, and worth engaging with. Ooh, you even got a footnote. Yet some other critiques feel... Sorry?
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you were in the middle of a paragraph. I thought that was the end of one. I was going to say that I very much agree with that whole throwaway because of one identity thing to go to humanity. And that came, especially when it came time for things like Independence Day, memorials, and all this stuff where it's like, hey, isn't it nice to be an American? I would not claim to be an American if it was not evidently true for most people to figure out. I would just be like, I'm a person. And
it's hard to have pride of being an American when America is founded on pretty much just the abuse, is founded on the ideals of freedom and equality, while actually perpetuating and being built on the blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifice of people that it took and destroyed, and continues to, and it continues to expand, kind of like a cancer. The American project is despicable.
I agree with this.
We are in the heart of empire. We live in the Fire Nation. Maybe one day the Fire Nation will be on the road to recompense with the rest of the fabric of reality. But until then, no pride there.
Yeah.
Guilt. I have guilt. I have American guilt. That's about it. Yet, some other critiques fail to distinguish between the ideal and the hypocrisy of it all. Am I less human because Thomas Jefferson was speaking out of both sides of his mouth when he penned the Declaration of Independence? His hypocrisy is his cross to carry. As the scriptures say, let the dead bury their dead. I can believe that it is self-evident that all people are created equal, regardless of how far away that ideal has been from reality historically. Fundamentally, I cannot abandon humanism because I do not know what the alternative is. Because Jefferson was a hypocrite, does that mean that all people are not in fact created equally?
No,
because
but the man was a dumbass.
I mean, I shouldn't say obviously, although a lot of people will probably say that I should. We are equal, but we've been fighting for it for a long time because that is not how the lived lives of people are playing out. And I think that's the important thing. I think the focus here is too much on the rhetoric the rhetoric and not on the necessity of the rhetoric and why people are arriving at these places. Even if I also did not seek to abandon humanity and for blackness, nor do I seek an ethno state for black people. Fuck no. And I also think that the things that like make a good life that like black people deserve, that other people deserve. I don't know. It's like it feels like being caught up too much in like the argument about the thing instead of the fight about the thing. But we are talking about philosophy here, and there is a lot of yapping. Have the efforts of evildoers in the past tainted the human label so that much that I must abandon it and seek out something else? I mean, some people do that. I use it as pronouns. Sometimes I stand alone in my answers to these questions, but I must answer no and no and no. The human label, humanity itself, belongs to me as much as it belongs to anyone else. That is to say, a radical claim. It is radical because I lay hold of all humanity. Feli Kuti, he is my brother. Mozart, he is my brother. The Buena Vista Social Club, they are my cousins. Joe Hishiya, he's my uncle. I claim it all because I love it all, because humans like me put them into the world. People often have had very detailed conversations about who is allowed to claim certain things. Gosh, sorry, I just have the worst brainworm now, and I'm just like, I'm glad that he is speaking his truth and stuff, because I don't want this to be framed as he shouldn't have said it because white people will use it in a bad way. But if literally I was an edgelord, I would just use this argument to go, oh, if you can claim everything and everyone can claim everything, then white people can say the N-word then, right? It's theirs too. But that's petty of me. That's very petty of me.
You know how I would respond to someone making that logical leap? I just go, great. Well, you would like to also take everything that comes with it as well, right?
Actions have consequences.
Yeah, don't pick up that cross to bear. But from now on, whenever people see your horns and your label and for a job, they immediately go, nah. Whenever people look at you and for it, they go, nah. Whenever things go, you like to take everything that comes with it. You claim to take everything, take everything.
In a way, he does address this. Well, he addresses his context, not other people's context, which, you know, is the least you can do. People have often had very detailed conversations about who is allowed to claim certain things. As a Nigerian, perhaps I can claim Fela, but can I claim Miles Davis? Yet I am not Yoruba, so technically perhaps I cannot claim Fela. Must I only claim achievements from people of my Nigerian ethnic group? Why not make it simply those of my immediate family? Truth be told, the only thing that I believe I can claim is myself. Nothing more, nothing less. But this, as Fanon says, makes me my own foundation. In claiming myself, I ask myself, what am I? I'm a human being. Humanity, therefore, is mine to claim. There will be a part 2. Will Thanos be there?
What?
That was a joke that went over your head. It's okay.
Remember, I'm not like I'm seeing this a little bit after you scroll down, so I'm just like, what the like, how lagged am I if I'm not seeing Thanos on screen?
No, there's no Thanos on screen. I was making a joke because the thing at the end of Marvel movies where they have a little bit of text and it's like, oh, this character will return in another Marvel movie or whatever. Yeah, well, it's usually the text after, not necessarily the end credit scene itself. It's just like, because it's just like, there will be a part 2, and I'm just like, huh, Marvel movies.
It's been over a decade since I've watched a Marvel movie, now that I think about it.
I don't think it's been that long for me, but it has been a while. Okay, so my thing with this whole thing is that it also makes it beg. Okay, so the negative space of this take, which I don't want to necessarily hold as my truth, would be that, oh, well, if I can only claim the certain things from the, or not the claiming, more like the things that matter, like whether or not it matters if there was a black philosopher talking to Plato. My question would be, what were they talking about? I think that it is also silly to find validity from checking off boxes, but the qualitative aspect of it is also a thing. And also, humans have a big thing about differences and can cloud their own judgments about each other based on the differences they perceive or don't. And so it is nice to have reminders of certain things. And I mean, we were talking about this when playing games earlier, of like the difference between art that was made by someone of a certain culture that it seems like very obvious that it was, versus when it isn't. And that we take pride in both representations of that thing, because it's nice to go, oh shit, something that I like or something that I think is relevant and powerful that reflects like parts of my culture. Cool. and then seeing something that goes, wow, this reflects my interest in things that I'm about, and things that may be part of my identity that aren't necessarily tied to stuff that I cannot choose, or maybe it is. And then I find out, oh, this is also made by someone who may have a similar life experience to me because they have the same identity. Wow, I also feel pride. Because we can make stuff that also is really cool without necessarily having the signifiers of the identities related to it. But still, some of those like parts are there, and I think that that's cool to acknowledge too. I mean, I guess we're coming from a non-dualist perspective on it, as opposed to one or the other, because I kind of want to go, I guess I want to say yes and in a way, where it's just like, okay, yeah, we can all claim humans, sure, but I don't think there's any harm in having that pride, because we all know by now the representation matters, and it's not just, oh yeah, I know someone black is in Severance, right? I love Severance. Wow, a black person is in it. That makes me feel so good. But it's just like, how am I engaging with it? Like it's not just that it's there. It is that it's like a reflective notion of that thing, and we shouldn't get caught up so much in like the accomplishments of others being a direct surrogate for our accomplishments. But you know, we all are in, you know, community together. But I guess I think it's also about, like, you know, not just community, but like culture and subculture and stuff like that. Because like, someone can be trans, for example, and have a lot of interaction with certain kinds of music. And in that way, that certain kind of music becomes a signifier of trans identity to some degree. I'm talking about stuff like breakcore and what was the big one? Hyperpop. But there are plenty of hyperpop artists that aren't trans, but they're still in community with people who are. Both things can be true at the same time.
That is not a right statement.
Huh?
Almost said the truth is relative.
No, the truth is relative.
Mm.
The truth is relative to your standpoint and like what it means. Like, for some people, the truth that a lot of black communities are lower income is a truth of the black people can't take care of their things. That's a truth for one person. But for others, it's the economic reality, a reflection of redlining and a history of like being like dysregulated. Honestly, I don't think we focus enough on how communities are dysregulated by stuff. We only found out recently that like Native Americans were super dysregulated by like hard liquor because it did not exist within like what they were doing, so it was completely new to them, and it was something they did not have anything to like sort of. It's like how people have social media and they'll have like a fucking iPad and they'll give it to someone who is still developing and they don't know how to like analyze it or separate themselves from it. And so when you have these concepts, it's like, oh shit, like I can get really drunk really quickly. Wow, I don't want to do anything anymore. Oh man. Like basically they introduce alcoholism, like Europeans introduce alcoholism to Native Americans, and also sort of use that to fucking dysregulate their communities just as much as like, you know, smallpox blankets. And so like when you think about behaviors that you pick up, I'm just like, oh, this is beneficial to my oppression.
Same strategy that was used for the opium wars.
Yeah, and the crack epidemic.
Yeah, it's been an age-old trick here. You wanna know how much of an age-old trick is it? I use this in my D&D campaign. as a way for explaining a colonialized movement of a sky, like they have literal sky cities, and they decide to send down different manufactured drugs made in a different land by the by taking people for low income and money to then factorize it, build it, create it, crush it up, and then literally rain it down like heavenly candy.
Wow.
Like very much, yeah. It's an age-old tactic. Evil as hell.
Very. And then they blame you for it. Like, it was like, yeah, we made you alcoholics. You alcoholics don't even deserve to be on reservations. It's like, the fuck you mean? Insane. Um, wow. This was a deep cut. I actually like very. We had a lot of emotions about this. This is probably gonna be like the thing we're most emotional about that we read this stream. Though we'll have other stuff that we'll read later. Wow, this pulled a lot out of us. But I also wanted to use it as reflecting because we know that most of our viewers aren't black. But I think there is something to learn from this, especially for the queer community, because someone might say, and I think this is relevant even now. About to watch Digital Circus. Do the accomplishments of Gooseworks reflect on you as a person in any way? Does Goose being able to create what she created and it's speaking to a certain type of person and having certain type of themes, does that mean anything about your value as a person at all?
Would you like me to answer that real quickly?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Totally, and as simple as I say, fuck no. You didn't do the work. You didn't do the things. You weren't a part of the team to work on this. How in the world does it relate to you? Those are their accomplishments, not yours. That's just how I see it.
I mean, if that's the case, then I guess you can't take pride in it, huh?
Nope,
Under that.
Same reason why I'm not taking pride in most of the things that we listed throughout the history of today.
I think that we aren't in isolation. Although we didn't inspire Gooseworks. Gooseworks is taking from other things and like actually piggybacking off of this essayist. If we're all like connected, if like we're all in concert together, then like there is something to say about like feeling something about the digital circus and feeling something about, oh, this thing that a trans person made is like relevant to me, and that's a part of the human experience too, because I think I want to work within that framework as like, yeah, a certain type of human, just like a trans woman is a certain type of woman, you know, like they don't cancel each other out. And so like, no, it's not literally your accomplishment. You can't go, yeah, the digital, like, I'm important because the digital circus exists and the person who made it is the same gender as me. Like, but at the same time, having pride about it, like, and drawing from it, drawing energy from it. Like, there is something to that. And though you can't claim that it is yours in that same way, it is yours. It's just a weird way of saying, like, we are all our own and each other's labors. And there are like these weird webs that connect us, and we don't always know what they are in the moment, but we're singing the same damn song. Though some people do not like that certain people sing it, and it's those disparities that we think make it so relevant to talk about pride and wanting to be in community. Because we lived in a perfect world, then yeah, I would completely agree that like there's no necessity for drawing pride from the people who do the same thing as you, or have the same thing as you, or look like you. But unfortunately, how our brains work, think people who look like us, people who act like us, people who have the same beliefs and motivations, often are the people we value the most. Sorry. Trying to like end our discussion about this essay in a way that feels satisfying is really hard, because I'm not satisfied, because I will never be satisfied, because this is an ongoing conversation, and I don't think there is any way to ultimately go, yes, I am completely right and we should never talk about this again. I mean, I guess I could. I'd be lying though.